SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
All right, Shoeless Joe's next Tuesday, November the 12th. We're going to be there, hanging out, Queen's Quay, before the game and during the game. So you can hang out for the game with the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Ottawa Senators. $10 of their tickets, and you can get the URL Eventbrite basically wherever you listen. So it's on YouTube, it's on Apple, and it's on Spotify. Just click the link, buy the ticket, be there. Already a lot of tickets sold, which has been great. And we're gonna be doing a live show beforehand, just so you know. You're not just coming to hang out. We're gonna put on a show for you.
Unless you show up late, then I suppose you are.
Yeah,
but you should show up for the show.
Yeah. And Steve's gonna bring books.
Yeah.
Steve's not gonna bring books.
Yeah, we don't know that yet.
But if you bring books, Steve will sign them.
There you go.
There you go.
We need that. I do like it, by the way, when people say, "Hey, why don't you sign Steve's book?" And I'm like, I also worked.
You did the forward.
Well, I did the forward, but like that's like a few pages. Like we didn't. The amount of work that goes into a book, I almost feel bad every time Jesse and I sign a book. I'm like, man, I feel a little bad about this.
No, but you signing it at least makes sense because you wrote piece of it. Like I did nothing to contribute to the book. Like it's not my.
You're in it,
except for being his support system.
I'm not in the book part at all. I'm in like the thank you.
Yeah.
at least in your first book, I'm in it like the book part because you talk about the show and that sort of stuff. But like this one, I'm just signing it because it's SDPN adjacent.
Yeah. I don't know. I signed Leaf jerseys. I signed a baby in London. So
that's wild.
We signed.
I had nothing to do.
Jerseys pretty often.
Yeah. I'm always shocked with that. I think the one that shocked me the most was the Joe Thornton Leafs jersey we signed in St. Catharines.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
There's somebody with a Joe Thornton Leafs jersey. Somebody's
that was in Oshawa.
Oh, was that in Oshawa?
Or it could have been both. Leaf fans are freaking weird, man.
Yeah, man, they are. It's crazy. Now listen, I want to kick off today's show with some good news.
No,
some exciting news. And really something that is nice because Quinn Hughes became the third fastest defenseman ever to 300 assists.
That's wild.
And I just think that's pretty crazy, right?
Yes, that is.
And I'm bringing up all-time scoring leaders, defensemen. Okay?
We're starting to see it more and more because scoring is up compared to where it was, like, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 years ago. So many of the records are, I mean, it's nearly the scoring record books are very heavily catered towards dudes who played in the 80s and like early 90s. So it's nice that some of those records are, you know, he didn't break a record, he's third, but like he's in the conversation.
Yes.
It feels like we went through a very big swath of hockey history without anyone ever becoming close.
Now, 300 assists is not even enough to put you in the top 100. So there's still a significant amount of time to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. He just started.
Yeah, but I think it's an incredible achievement. And I'm like, oh, sorry, that's points. What am I saying?
Adam! what's
Quan hockey
on?
with all their
What's going on here?
all these things. It's still not enough to put you in the top 100. But I'm looking at him. He and Justin Falk, who also just passed the mark. See, Quinn Hughes did it in 367 games. Justin Falk, for anybody paying attention, did it in 915 games.
Wow, and he's like a pretty decent offensive defenseman. He's had a very good career.
Another defenseman that you would know that would be on this list that's still playing, a couple of them. Ryan McDonough, 941 games he's played. He's got 317 assists. Seth Jones is 322. He's played 811. I'm just trying to... Nick Leddy, 1,015 games, 338 assists.
Jeez.
So you're talking about... And here's a guy who was known for some scoring for a while. Jeff Petrie doesn't even have 300 in 946 games. He has 283. So that kind of gives you some context about how incredible this is.
Yes. No, Quinn Hughes is, I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches kind of across the board. Like, a lot of guys haven't done the best recently. Obviously, McDavid's had a struggle to start the season. Matthews.
Ovi's doing okay.
Ovi is doing okay.
I'm glad I have him on my fantasy.
I mean, to have Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar in the league at the same time rules.
And Adam Fox.
Rules and Adam Fox. Like the fact that Adam Fox is like, we look at him and we're like, that's a bronze medal.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't win a Norris again.
You know, he might not.
He might not.
He might not. Like, you know how many guys like went through the 80s and 90s that maybe could have? Like, it's part of the reason why the Hall of Fame discussion with some guys is so difficult and it feels unfair. Okay, he never even won a league MVP or a scoring title.
Right.
Unfortunately, it says here his career spanned from 1979 to 1999. So good luck with that. That's Gretzky's entire career, the prime of Lemieux, the prime of Jágr, most of the prime of Jágr, and even that trickled it. What was the record? It was for 20 years or something like that. The scoring title was held by 3 different men.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
And I know that's not defense, but I don't like records or conversations that last forever. There needs to be a chase.
Oh, it's way more exciting watching Ovi chase Gretzky than saying can't be beat. Mm-hmm. And that's what we said for a long time.
Stop watching hockey.
Yeah.
It's done now. Well, it'll never be better.
To be fair to those people that said it, though, during the trap era, it seemed impossible.
It seemed completely... Yeah, Jamie Benn, that wasn't even the trap era, led the league with 86 points.
That's boring. That sucks.
It's boring and sucks and boo. Yeah, no, it was crap.
Yeah. So,
did you have the guys who got 300 assists faster than him?
I do not have that.
Oh. Gotta be Bobby Orr.
Steve, you want to play?
I don't even know how
both
to
of
look
you
that
can play guessing games with that one. So, Bobby Orr, free space, correct.
Yeah.
Fastest to 300.
I'm gonna say. So he's the third one. So there's 2.
Third fastest. Yeah, only 2 men ever have got 300 assists faster.
I'm gonna say
assists faster.
For me, it's either Paul Coffey or Larry Murphy, but I'll go with Paul Coffey because the Oilers were bonzo.
Ray Bork.
Adam was close. Coffey's in 4th place.
Okay,
He's faster than Paul Coffey's wild.
that is crazy. That's
Hold on, let me make sure that
because Paul Coffey didn't really play defense. He was mostly a 4th forward.
That was the criticism of
second
his whole
fastest defenseman ever to 300 career assists, Brian Leach.
Wow.
Who did it in 368 games.
Brian Leach rules.
Bobby Orr did it in 346, and Quinn Hughes 376. He beat Paul Coffey by 1 game, who did it in 377 games.
Bork not being there at all is crazy.
Brian Leach, favorite non-Leafs defenseman until he was a Leaf. Always loved him. I wish we gotta get that extra season out of him.
That's a huge what if.
Yeah.
I mean, to even be that close to Bobby Orr.
Yeah, no, he's not.
He missed him by 30 games.
Crazy.
No, it's in theory. Okay, so here's a question. Is Cale Makar on pace to be better than this? Faster than this? 'Cause I feel like they're roughly
he's
the
played
same
328 and he only has 268 assists, so no.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Unless he gets 40 assists in the next 10 games, which is possible.
I don't know if you've seen his numbers.
I have him on my fantasy team.
Oh, I'm a lucky bastard.
I got him on both of them in the first round.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's so
Yeah,
disgusting.
he's gonna be up there.
Yeah.
He's going to be up there.
Yeah, which isn't insignificant. Like, he's gonna be one of the fastest.
He has
goal numbers must be higher.
He has 18 assists in 13 games just this year alone. Cale Makar.
Yeah, like Makar last year had 21 goals. Like Hughes doesn't have those goal numbers.
No.
He had 17 last year actually. So
Which is actually extremely good.
If only 4 off. He does have those goals.
To have the 2 of them is crazy.
That is
and then
crazy.
also like Adam Fox and dude, there's a bunch of really good players. There's a lot to complain about with the NHL. We talk about it all the time. In terms of talent, it's an embarrassment of riches today, and it's never been better.
Sorry, go ahead, Jess.
No, I forgot Cale Makar's 21-22 season. He almost scored 30 goals. He had 28.
Whoa.
I completely forgot that was a thing that happened.
Was John Carlson the only one to hit 30 in the modern era?
I don't know if John Carlson ever hit 30. It was like
Washington?
Mike Green and Sheldon Souray.
It's Mike Green. That's what it was. Mike Green. I always think Washington defenseman.
That's one of the. Remember Bloggy Salming?
Yeah.
Bloggy Salming and Down Goes Brown when they made videos together, and he did the Team Canada diss rap for the Vancouver Olympics, and he's like, "Wait, Mike Green's not on this team? Holy fuck, we're stacked." Mike Green with 30 goals didn't make Team Canada.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's only been 17 defensemen all time that have scored 30 goals in a season.
So Mike Green is
18 of them are Bobby Orr.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's 17 30-goal seasons by a defenseman, not all time. Yes.
Okay, so obviously, can we go through some of this? Bobby Orr.
Yep.
How many?
Paul Coffey has the record. He has most goals in a season.
He had 5, didn't he?
He had 48 goals in one season.
Whoa!
Yeah, so he did 30 goals. 1, 2.
That's be a pro.
3.
He's not back checking for nobody.
That might be a
times.
tough one to beat.
3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
Bobby Orr, how many, Jesse?
Bobby Orr's on this list. He's in the top 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times. And he had a 29 goal season.
Bork has to be in there.
Ray Bork is nope.
What?
What about Lawrence Murphy? Larry Murphy.
Nope.
Wow. Larry was a big time scorer. That's crazy.
Well,
Ray Bork, I found him. 31 goal season, 15th. There you go.
Okay.
Yep, there you go.
All right.
In the 83-84 season, scored 31 goals.
Wow.
There you go.
And Boston were pretty bad at that point.
Do you want the other names?
Yeah.
the greatest.
Doug Wilson
Oh,
in 81-82 scored 39 goals. That's a fun trivia
Randy
fact.
Carlisle?
Randy Carlisle not on the list.
No.
Kevin Hatcher is in 8th. He has the 8th high scoring goal season from a defenseman. Mike Green
Yep.
is tied for 11th at 31. Dennis Potvin,
Oh,
31.
Yeah.
Phil Housley, 31. And then we got the repeat names: Bork, Coffey, Potvin, Orr.
Phil Housley, Leaf.
wow.
Yeah. So Maddie, if you want to bring that up now that we did the trivia, that's top most goals by a defenseman in a season all time.
Damn.
Great list. Cale Makar right there at 28. Brent Burns had a 29 goal season. Cale Makar had a 28 goal season.
Right. Al McInnes got so close.
Yeah,
so
look at
many
these
times,
29s. That sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
Like, I would be so
Not
mad.
30. Look at Paul Coffey. He's got 3 that are just sitting on the outside looking in.
At the end of last season, I was so adamant that 70 mattered. Like,
Yeah.
Austin
It does
ending at
matter.
69 is like, it's really cool. It's a great accomplishment, but that round number of 70 meant something.
Yeah, it does matter.
Because when you look at the history books and you go back and we're like, we cut it off at 30.
Well, go look at it.
You know?
Go look at it for just everybody.
For
Like, how many players have ever had a 70 goal
Sure,
season?
sure. Yeah, let's do that by
There's probably been like 12 ever. There can't be very many.
14.
14.
You're very close.
There you go.
Yeah, and Austin's right here at 18th.
18.
Most goals in a season.
Look
and
at how many guys had 69.
that round number matters. I'm sorry.
It does.
Lemieux 92-93 is arguably the greatest season any player has ever had. In 60 games, he had 69 goals and 160 points. He was on pace that season, if he had played a full season, to beat Gretzky's goals and points record.
On that list is Alexander McGillney at number 5. 76 goals in 77 games for the 92-93 Buffalo Sabres, which brings us to an interesting thing.
That's stupid.
That's such a stupid amount. That's crazy. It's crazy. And it's crazy because the season before, Brett Hull had done 86 in 78. But what I want to highlight about Alexander McGillney is that guy, and as far as hockey terms go, has one of the most interesting stories in NHL history. He defected from the Soviet Union. He was one of the first players to say, "Fuck off! I'm not paying you my." The Soviet Union used to let you go, but you had to pay 50% of your income to the Soviet Union, and he told them to fly a kite. And so he just left and said no, and was open about how much he hated the Soviet Union, and that was scary at that point, right? That was still, the tensions were thawing, but it wasn't great. And this is pre-Berlin Wall coming down, whatever. And he's got guys in the league like Fetisov and whatever who are like committed Soviet Union, going to spend the money or going to send it back to the homeland, that sort of thing. And he goes and he does this in Buffalo, and then he goes to Vancouver, almost wins a cup with Pavel Bure. They were spectacular together. Comes to Toronto, gets to the conference finals, goes to New Jersey. I think he
has at least one cup.
He's got at least one cup, and I think it was with Jersey.
It was definitely, it wasn't Toronto.
And this guy is...
wasn't Buffalo or Vancouver either.
This guy is not in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He is the best player, for my money, that isn't in the Hall of Fame. And probably there is some sort of political reason why, and I actually don't know. I don't think it has to do with like Russian relations, because Daxut's going in this year. I think this is someone in there doesn't like him.
I've heard whispers of political stuff with like Pat Burns, for example. That's why it took him so long.
Well, he died.
Yeah.
And then he got in.
He was going into the Hall of Fame. He was always going into the Hall of Fame. He could have gone into the Hall of Fame while he was alive, and they wouldn't let him.
And they knew he was dying.
They knew he was dying.
Like,
they knew they made a choice, and they have to live with that.
And
they didn't put him in.
as far as players going in this year, with respect to Jeremy Roenick and the career he had, Jeremy Roenick didn't have a career that comes anywhere close to Alexander McGillney. And Datsuk and Weber, I won't include the Builders. I won't include women's hockey because they're just different categories.
Yeah.
But Datsuk and Weber deserve to go in. But if we're comparing each year, there's always a guy where I'm like, yeah, I know that Pierre Turgeon should go in, but McGillney scored more and has more cups.
With Roenick, I'm willing to grade on a curve. Because he's one of the greatest American players ever.
1,000%.
Yeah. And I know that, like, until recently, like, the Americans probably have the best program in the world right now. A lot of Canadians don't want to talk about that.
Oh, man.
Four Nation face-off.
Our asses handed to us right now.
They're easily the favorite.
Hockey Canada, one day we'll actually get into it. We'll bring Sean Fitzgerald back. Hockey Canada needs not just a reboot upstairs, but the way we train players and that sort of thing, we're getting left behind.
Oh, yeah. 100%. But like you see stuff like, oh yeah, like we get to see it up front with Matthews because he, every point he gets, cause he racks up so much, he moves up the rank of like American scorers, American goal scorers. And you start to realize that the American record book is just not all that rich. It's getting there, it's building. But like Jeremy Roenick's top 5 in a lot of categories. Mm-hmm. And for me, I understand the grading on a curve there.
Okay.
However, Turgeon last year, we already did that. We don't have to dig that up again. Roenick, Shea Weber is still actively under contract. I know he's never going to play again. Okay, why isn't Price in? McGillney should be in the Hall of Fame.
Easily.
There are several players. A lot of people, Theoren Fleury's a fascinating argument. Mm-hmm. Fascinating. I wrote an article about him when I was with Sportsnet. Is this one of the free spaces that I bring up all the time? I can't remember, but I know what he's like on Twitter. Okay. I get it. I know the stains on his legacy.
Talking about Roenick.
No, I'm talking about Fleury.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Theo.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm talking about other guys who deserve to be in.
But also, if we're going to mention the stains, we need to mention what the man went through as well.
Yes, 100%. And if you just, it's not the Hockey Hall of good guys.
It's also not the Hockey Hall of your opinion on vaccines.
It's
what you did on the ice.
It is not the Hockey Hall of good guys. There are many people who, if we dug deep enough, they'd tear the 4 walls of that building down, let alone remove them from the place. But Theo Fleury, the Olympic gold medals, the cups, just the points, the resume. There are several players who should be in that aren't.
Yeah, and like if you just put McGillney and Roenick's career side by side, if the points are equal, if McGillney is at the 300 extra games that Roenick played, and you look at the individual trophies that both of them accomplished, that McGillney has the one up because he has a Lady Byng and Roenick doesn't have that. And their peaks of their careers in terms of like their greatest seasons individually, McGillney gets that leg up because of the goal scoring. And I don't understand how you compare these players and one's in and one's not.
I think worst case for JR, not for JR, worst case for McGillney, they're peers.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like worst case, they're equal.
So here's why I think, and people are going to yell at me and go, well, JR had more points. Well, JR played 1,363 games, 1,216 points. That is crazy. Mm-hmm. That's a crazy amount of points, especially in the dead puck era. Like this guy played through that. He played through the late 80s, early 90s, and then into the dead puck era.
His prime was dead puck.
100%.
That matters.
Yeah, it does matter.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about the 300 extra games that he plays. Like the numbers are, the points per game by McGillney is more impressive.
Well, that's my point.
That was the knock on Dave Anderchuk.
So what I want to say here, 990 games, 1,032 points for McGillney. You know, Roenick had 1,300 games, got 1,200 points. I'm sorry. They're not the same. They're not the same.
I keep coming back to this, and we know why his career was cut short. Paul Kariya.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Paul just might not show up, though. Like, he still seems pretty ticked with the NHL.
No, he's in.
Oh, he's in. Oh, okay, yeah. Because there was that whole thing about him walking away.
If I remember, well, no, like he had horrible concussions and everything,
Yeah.
but I think it was 989 points in 989
But did you
games.
see the documentary they did on TSN about him? And how
It was a
pissed
long
he
time
was
ago.
with the NHL about how they handled concussions?
He should have been. He should have been. And, well, maybe that leads into another person who is getting into the Hall
Well,
of
so
Fame today.
I bring up the Hall of Fame because I want to bring up the builders category. David Poile,
And it's Hall of Fame weekend.
Hall of Fame weekend,
Yes.
yeah. David
The
Poile,
context.
who built the now legendary Nashville Predators from literally brick one until a couple seasons ago, is going in. And that's well-deserved. I don't think anything's going to argue that. The other builder that's going in is Colin Campbell. And nobody who you talk to can understand why. And when I mean who you talk to, I'm talking about people in the game. Colin Campbell did play for the Vancouver Canucks. He played for the Oilers.
Was he good?
Yeah, I played for the Pens. No, he wasn't particularly good. He was a junior player with the Petes, that sort of thing.
Like, did he have he's not going in as a player.
No.
He's going in as a builder.
Yeah, like his playing resume is immaterial to the conversation.
He was in the show. Yeah, his 100%. It literally does not matter to the conversation.
He
at all.
coached the Rangers for 3.5 years until he was fired in 97, 98.
Okay.
Got as far as the conference finals against Philly. I think that was Gretzky's first year with the Rangers. And then moved over to Senior VP, Director of Hockey Ops, taking over from Brian Burke, who I believe went to Vancouver at that point.
Even his coaching resume, I think, is immaterial.
He only coached 269 games.
It's immaterial.
Yeah, his NHL, he played 636 games. So he's not going in as a coach. He's not going in as a player. He's going in as a builder. And where I try to, I try to be fair with things because I understand running a multi-billion-dollar business has issues, right? So you're going to have moments where things don't look the best, people don't look the best, someone does something out of your control under your watch. But as a leader, it's your job to handle it properly. And the NHL, as we know, for many, many years, was able to get away with a lot because a lot of the journalism surrounding it required access. And if you went against the NHL, you lost access. And that's no longer the case, which is a good thing. You look at a guy like Rick Westhead or Katie Strang. Colin Campbell, for me...
Oh, they love them.
I love them. Colin Campbell, for me, is a guy that is there because he says yes.
Multiple people that I spoke to over the last few days preparing for this, without speaking to each other, said, yes, man. Multiple times the term "kiss the ring" was used, and he'll be kissing his ring today, this week as he gets his Hall of Fame ring. It's a disgrace. And the word henchman kept getting used. And I mean, does being the henchman for the guy in charge who is already in the Hall of Fame, does that get you into the Hall of Fame? And apparently the answer is yes. Does in court documents complaining about the officiating of your son's hockey game,
Your son, who's now the assistant GM in Florida.
who is still working for them and a scout, and his name is on the cup now twice, 2 different teams, once as a player and once as an exec. He talked to the head of officiating in the NHL about the way his games were handled. Mark Savard gets a concussion from a hit from Matt Cook. There is no suspension on the play whatsoever. In the emails that came out in court documents, Colin Campbell appears to have a at worst, personal vendetta against Mark Savard, and I think at best, personal bias against Mark Savard. Mm-hmm. If you want a clip to listen to that's not this show, Aaron Ward, I think he played roughly 1,000 games in the NHL, former 5th overall pick. This dude went off
on Mitch Melnick's show on TSN Montreal.
Yeah, on 960.
Yeah.
On Colin Campbell, called him a henchman, called him kiss the ring, all the stuff I just said, and he's got his own beefs with him. There was a sucker punch from Scott Walker in a playoff game that went unsuspended, and you can tell from the clip hearing Aaron Ward that he's highly suspicious of the reasons for that. And there was another incident that I believe was in the emails where Donald Brashear punched Ward right in the face. Again, nothing happened. And Colin Campbell was quoted as, I'm paraphrasing, that little punk deserved to get punched in the face.
Well, and here's where it became interesting, because you're talking about emails that were sent. Colin Campbell called Mark Savard a little fake artist in these emails that were dropped. He also, as you mentioned, Gregory Campbell, his son, took a high-sticking minor on Savard, and Colin Campbell sent emails to the director of officiating at the time, Stephen Walcom, complaining about the work of his referees, who gave Gregory Campbell the penalty, and it resulted in a game-tying goal. And Colin Campbell only stepped aside for Brendan Shanahan as head of player safety just before his son began playing in the 2011 Stanley Cup Finals, Bruins versus Canucks. And that was right when these emails all came out. So they had to move him aside because it was so bad, and his son was about to play in the finals, and they were a vicious Stanley Cup Finals.
And the Vancouver Canucks received a suspension in that series that I believe was a record that still hasn't been broken.
Which is what?
Aaron Rome was suspended 4 games for his hit in Nathan Horton. Now, horrible fucking hit, but it does bear repeating that it's a record. It's never been broken.
During the voting for the 2016 NHL All-Star Game, you guys will remember if you've listened to this show, John Scott was leading all fan voting as captain of the Pacific Division. In his piece for the Players Tribune, John Scott revealed that one NHL executive attempted to shame him out of competing, asking how his children might feel about his participation. We talked about this on the VIP episode that's going to come out. Imagine invoking someone's kids. It was revealed
Colin
months
Campbell's,
later.
I hope it was over the phone.
It was revealed many months later in a Twitter tirade from Steve Downey that Colin Campbell was that executive. He is still director of hockey ops at the NHL. And I think it's particularly important because, listen, Gary Bettman, every time he steps on the ice to hand over a trophy, people boo him. Mm-hmm. And there are plenty of reasons to boo Gary Bettman. That's the commissioner's job. Your job is to have tomatoes thrown at you on behalf of the owners. And guess what? Your paycheck's like $10 million a year. For 10 sheets, you can throw as many tomatoes at me as you want.
When did he get a contract extension?
He got it during the Kyle Beach saga, fiasco, whatever word you want to use for that. That absolute mess.
That's a peculiar time to get one. Anyway, continue.
And you know what I think will be interesting this week, and what'll be sad is that Gary will be probably out on the ice presenting these players and these people, and they'll introduce each of them in front of Leith faithful, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it always happens in Toronto Hockey Hall of Fame's here. The guy who deserves the booze this weekend is Colin.
Oh yeah,
and I don't know.
I'm sure that'll go great for the Leafs.
I don't know if enough people realize that. And I think it's worth talking about.
This dude who has a documented history of carrying vendettas. Yeah, let's definitely have 20,000 people boo him. Go for it. Fuck him. He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. If he's going in as a builder, it's a poor foundation, and it's going to fall down if you look at his legacy.
Aaron Ward made a really good point, too, in that Mitch Melnick interview. And he said, no multi-billion-dollar company would have a guy like Colin Campbell at the top of it, except for the NHL. And
do you think he likes him?
I think he doesn't like him. And I'm only quoting Aaron because the other people I talked to requested not to go on the record, because this man holds a significant amount of power within the league. And so, you know, Aaron was willing to come out and say it, but I want you to know that a lot of people feel this way. And that they are not happy about this guy going in.
The last time.
And that they think it's a shame. I had one person say to me, I hope that one day all the stuff about him actually comes out so they can kick him out of the Hall of Fame.
Dude, the stuff that has come out about him should be enough to kick him out of the Hall of Fame. It wasn't even enough for him to get fired. What's going to have to come out about him to get him kicked out of the Hall of Fame? He doesn't belong in there. It's a disgrace. It's a complete disgrace. The last time we did this rant, several people from around the NHL reached out to me and gave me a digital high five. They couldn't find anyone to say a good word about him, except for
that's hard.
in the press release.
Usually you can get somebody to say something good about anybody.
I'm a loudmouth who talks about hockey on the internet. There's no shortage of people willing to tell me to fuck off, and no one did it.
The one thing that I don't think is being talked about enough about why he's in the Hockey Hall of Fame is that from 2005 to 2019, I believe, whatever that 15-year span is, he was a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame selection committee. So he spent the longest term possible. There's 18 people who come together each year and they decide who's going to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. And he was a member of that committee for the maximum term of 15 years. And that was throughout this previous tenure, just before COVID, and that ends. And then now post that, they decide to elect him to the Hockey Hall of Fame. It feels to me very transparent that oh yeah, this guy was with these people in the same room for nearly 2 decades, and now they're choosing to elect him to the Hockey Hall of Fame. It seems very transparent.
Jesse, when did you say he was in the induction committee?
From, I believe, 2005 to 2019. Let me
so
check.
he would have been one of the guys that voted Gary in 2018.
Oh, that's nice. Isn't that nice?
Listen, you can hate that you can hate that Gary's in. I would argue Gary deserves to be in. I don't think there's an argument against it. I do think there's a problem.
I mean,
when you're voting
for
the
30
current
years.
commissioner in.
Yeah.
I think you got to wait till he's retired, because players have to wait till they're retired.
When the fuck's that?
Well, exactly. Why do we have to wait for Jágr to officially retire for him to go in?
Yeah, Jágr's
but
not in the Hall
Colin
of Fame.
Campbell, but not Gary Bettman.
Jágr's not in the Hall of Fame. Weber is.
Yeah,
I
don't think it makes sense for if you're active as in your role as the builder to be in the Hall of Fame like that. It's a joke. Yeah,
that is a joke.
Yeah.
And the reason that they normally don't do that is they want to see your career as a whole. Mm-hmm. And also, don't put him in. He might fuck something up, right? If he's still active, he might fuck something up and make us look bad. Mm-hmm. And don't worry, these guys can. They've done it before. And I just look at this and I think,
well,
okay,
you got to get people into the Hall of Fame while they're still alive. I think that's really important for them to enjoy that moment.
But do you guys see how you're trying to, you can't find anybody to say a good word about him, but he sat with 17 other people for nearly 2 decades, and all those people are probably yeah, we got to do Colin this favor and put him in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
I can absolutely see that's how it works.
I think that's kind of how it works, and it's really scummy, because his merit isn't there to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but he's buddies with people and they're giving him that favor.
Because he would be the only buddy that didn't make it in. If it wasn't for that, right?
Yeah, no, if you look at the list of people, they're all Hall of Famers, So they're okay, you've done this work for the Hall itself for this long time. We're going to do you this giant favor and put you in, so now you are one of us. Even though your resume doesn't support that.
There's community rink custodians that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame before Colin Campbell.
Mm-hmm. But did that custodian sit with those people and rub elbows and know all of them? No.
Fewer people have done more damage to hockey than Colin Campbell.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jesse. I think that there's instantly when you were yeah, there's a bunch of people that had to sit with him. I'm probably against their will. It's not it's how many guns did he have in the room? You know what I mean? I just feel there are very few people that I want to go this far with. But that's the reason that we go this far with this person is this person does not deserve it. Well, and we could sit here and cry about it, and he's going to go in and he's going to get his ring, and he doesn't give a shit what we think. But I got to tell you, this person is a ghoul as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion. This person is. I could see Gary going in. I could see Bill Daly going in. I could see all the other guys that people that are maybe not liked. Colin is not that guy. He never reached that level of success with anything.
We're not unreasonable people. Do I like the job Gary Bettman has done? No, not at all. He's been the commissioner for 30 years.
And has built an extraordinarily profitable league.
Sure.
I'll give him that.
And I guess the argument would be, you need henchmen to help you accomplish that. So good for
But
Colin.
the thing about henchmen is henchmen are usually not honored at the highest level. Like whenever you see a James Bond movie, you don't see Odd Job going, yes, I also want to take over the world. He's just the henchman.
Right.
Right? You know, it's not Odd Job's like, no, I want to do a power sharing oligopoly agreement here. No, it's a freaking it's the bad guy, and he's the king, and Gary's the king here. And for some people, he's a bad guy. For some people, he's a good guy. But he's Gary. What you're telling me the guy that carries out the dirty business? And I think
the NHL is run and has been run for 3 decades by like 15 people. Zero hyperbole. Like between the owners of the most important group and Gary and Bill Daly, Colin, 15 might be too high.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll leave it there. I don't want to belabor the point. You know how we feel about it. Don't think it belongs in there. I think it's a disservice to a guy like David Poile. But to Natalie Darwitz, David Poile, Pavel Datsyuk, Shea Weber, Chrissy Wendell, and Jeremy Roenick, congratulations. Well deserved. To Colin Campbell, we all know why you're there. You know why you're there. I hope it's as empty as it feels for the rest of us.
Steve, are you doing any book signings in Tilsonburg?
Colin Campbell's house? Oh, sorry.
Tilsonburg?
Yeah, Tilsonburg, Ontario. It's a town in Oxford County.
Oxford County.
I've been to Tilsonburg.
Why do I know about Tilsonburg?
It's
why?
southeast of London.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Have I been to a wedding?
It's
there?
west of Yonge
why?
Street, though,
Why?
Jesse. I don't think so.
I friggin' drove to and from London the other day. Why?
They renamed a rink there the Colin Campbell Community Rink
Jesus.
Arena.
Christ.
I'm so sorry.
That thing is going to sink into the earth like the Tower of Pisa.
Are you going to
no
pay a
foundation
visit to the Colin Campbell Community Arena
Yeah, after about 3 coffees.
in Tilsonburg?
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking if you're going to have your book signing there.
Also, can I just throw something out there? It's fucking Colin. Like what?
Adam!
Colin's apt, but
Colin's a name.
it's apt. But it's Colin.
Yeah.
Stop.
No.
You're trying to be difficult.
I'd spell it different.
Sorry, that was a cheap shot.
It is a cheap shot.
Whatever, though. I don't give a shit.
Oh, well, get mad about it and I'll accuse you of faking it. Fuck you.
There we go. So listen, I wanted to start with good, and then we went to kind of sad and negative. Like I don't love that's the focal point of the Hall of Fame weekend, but it doesn't have to be. Let's talk about how great Datsyuk is. Let's talk about how great these women hockey players are, how great David Poile was. There's such incredible names going in this year, and we shouldn't get that lost in there, although McGillney deserves it. But what I really want to do right now is bring it to the Super Happy, because we have a special guest coming on. And her name.
Before we do that, can I bring it back to Quinn Hughes?
Oh, yeah.
Because I did a thing on Quinn Hughes' 298th assist.
Oh,
in
do
his
it.
career.
Oh, this
If
I
we
love that you're
wanted
doing
just
this,
to
by the
tie
way.
that in. I just wanted to let people know that this thing exists. So on the SDPN YouTube channel, I started doing these breakdowns of the goals.
No,
we
you
have.
didn't. What are they called?
NHL Edge Blake Down.
Yeah!
So I'll just play it without the volume. So I did one Brock Besser's power play goal the other night, but it was on a Quinn Hughes assist, which I highlighted. So go check that out on the SDPN YouTube channel.
I love that you're doing that.
Yeah,
They're fun. They are fun to watch.
Good times.
Okay, can I tell you the can I tell you the great guest now? Am I allowed to do that?
I don't know, Adam. Do we have the means to bring on a great guest?
We have the means.
Like, do we have the right cups? Do we have the right plates? Do we have the right cutlery?
I mean, he's trying to. Okay, so listen. This is what I need you to do. This is what I need you to do. Hold that camera, Maddie, where it is. She is a longtime friend of the show. And Maddie, you weren't supposed to go to him yet. That's why I said, hold that camera where it is. For God's sakes, Natalie Spooner joins us on the SDP.
It's not really a secret when like the show. This isn't live.
Yeah, well, I don't care. I wanted to build it up.
It's in the description.
Let me have my moment.
And
all of you guys.
in the thumbnail.
All of
and
you.
In the timestamps. It's not. This isn't live.
Anyway, the new Sceptres jersey's out. And Natalie's coming in to talk about it. Get ready for Puck Drop with BetMGM, the official sports betting partner of the NHL.
Does BetMGM fake puck drop it?
No,
like the
they're not
linesmen?
a linesman.
Are they?
No.
Or are they actually just dropping the puck?
No, they follow through on what they say that they're going to do, unlike NHL linesmen.
Adam,
What?
how dare you?
What?
What? I want to be able to bet on an over-under for players kicked out of the face.
You know what? Can we call them and ask for that? Because I would really like that.
I'm assuming not.
So BetMGM gives you the chance to take those highlight reel NHL plays to a whole new level. Take your shot and light the lamp with BetMGM. Download the app today and find out why BetMGM is not only the official sports betting partner of the NHL in Canada, they're also the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 19 years of age to or older to wager. I screwed it up. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you have any questions or concerns about your gambling or someone close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with iGaming Ontario.
Do better next time.
Man, I'm on Tylenol daytime colds, man. It's killing me. Welcoming on from the Toronto Sceptres, longtime friend of the show, it's Natalie Spooner. Look at this costume change that we just did, by the way.
I know.
It's crazy.
We feel like a band.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
So Natalie, so first off, last year we found out, obviously we weren't gonna have names ready in time, so you guys had just the city name jerseys, and I think those are probably gonna be collectible now, like they're collector's items. But as of today at shop.pwhl.com, we can buy these and we can pre-order your jersey.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I mean, it's historic to think, where we came from, and now to have like a team identity and for it to be launched and everyone to be able to get their hands on these jerseys, I think will be amazing. And as a player, to be able to look out in the stands and see everyone wearing your jerseys. Last season was pretty cool, even just with the Toronto jersey,
Yeah.
but now to have, Toronto Sceptres and it to become an iconic brand in Toronto is the most exciting part.
How close did you get to having a team name last year? Because I know it was just, Toronto PWHL, but you had to obviously make some concessions because there wasn't a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we were close at all. We just kind of accepted Toronto PWHL Toronto. We just went with it. I'm not sure if there even was talked about that. I mean, the league came together so fast.
Yeah.
Really, if we look back, and the success that we had was amazing for how fast it came together and everything we were able to do, from breaking record after record after record. It's like, now where do we go from there? How do we break another record?
Yeah, and I don't think not having the team names hurt the team at all, because I was down there at Mattamy, I was down there at Coca-Cola, and you see the atmosphere and how much people cared about this team. Like, having the team name it didn't really matter.
No, people embraced us and loved us and cheered us on, and you know what, maybe it even helped, like, just getting the PWHL out there for year one, to have that recognition.
Yeah, it's good branding, right?
Yeah.
I want to say, you guys broke an attendance record that has since been broken because Montreal has more seats than we do at Scotiabank. But I want to know what it was like being on the ice for that game, because I'll tell you, Chris Johnson, who works at this network, said it was the best atmosphere for hockey in Toronto he'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And he's been to every kind of game you can imagine.
Our fans are loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing, is you notice like how everyone is so into the game, no matter where they were seated. Like, everyone, it felt like they were on top of you. And the same when we went to Montreal, that was very loud in there. Like, I was like, this probably
They are loud.
Not to code. Like, I think people are blowing out their eardrums. Like, this, maybe they need to like tone it down a little. But yeah, it was crazy. I think it just shows that we have such great fans that are so want to be involved, want to cheer us on, and help grow our game.
Yeah, it's interesting because I say long time friend of the show. We've known you since you were in, several leagues ago. And, to see the progression of women's hockey in that time, when we did like an outdoor road hockey game with you, I think 8 years ago. And to have imagined this, I think for all of us would have been like the best case scenario. How does it feel to finally be here?
Yeah, it's a dream come true. I feel lucky that it's in my time of still playing. I think it's something that we've fought for
Dominating,
so long.
Sorry, not just playing. Dominating. You were a killer last year.
Something that we fought for so long and wanted. And obviously taking, those years off was tough, not knowing what the outcome was going to be. But it really made it all worth it to know that, like, this is something that now we've built and it's sustainable and it's going to be around. And all those little girls, like your daughter, will be able to play professional hockey if she wants and have, like, a full-time career as an athlete and as a hockey player.
I think she'll be more into the interpretive dance side of hockey.
Okay.
Yeah, she's just a little bit dramatic, but just right now.
I took dance as a kid too, so
Listen, I'm
helps
taking
with
her
the
to a
game.
game this year. So
There you go.
I assume dancing helps with the hockey.
Yeah.
yes, absolute balance.
Yeah.
Yes,
There you go.
of which she has. My daughter has this uncanny ability to have no coordination at any point. So if she falls, her head hits the ground before her hands come out. It's unbelievable. So I got her in gymnastics, and I'm teaching her to skate. I tried a little bit last year, a little bit this year. It's not maybe the natural thing, but we'll try. She's going to be a huge fan, though.
There you go.
Know
There you
that.
go.
So I guess I want to talk a little bit about last year, and I know Jesse kind of mentioned this before we went on, but your season last year was pretty spectacular. But it ended with a little bit of heartbreak. And I want to talk to you just about the season part of it, and then I'll let Jesse ask the follow-up. What did it feel like to start and be in the first year of this team in Toronto and absolutely go out and crush it, specifically you? Like, I know you're a team person, but you scored a bazillion goals last year, and that had to feel great.
That was the official number.
Yeah,
as well.
bazillion, actually.
To be honest, it was just like a whirlwind. Like going into the season, like everything was just happening so fast. And too, like having a little kid, I was literally just trying to stay above water. So it was like every day I would just come in and try to like do the best that I could. And luckily I was able to produce and, you know, put myself in those good spots to help my team score and win. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it was just like the season was over and it was like, what just happened? Like, where did the season go? It seemed to fly by.
Yes.
And now that Adam kind of buttered you up with the nice part of the season, the part that I'm just fascinated to hear your perspective on is how it ended. Because in Game 3 of the Minnesota series, you get checked into the boards, you get a knee injury, and that kind of derails your whole summer and season. You're done at that point. And then at that time, Toronto's up 2-0 in the series, and it ends with them losing 3-2. How was it watching that from the press box, the 3 games that Toronto lost, and then how has the recovery been throughout the summer?
Yeah. I mean, it was heartbreaking for that to happen and to know that, you know, I wasn't going to be able to be there on the ice for my teammates. But watching them, I still felt super proud. I think, like, we did play really well. You know, we obviously didn't get the job done, and that's the heartbreaking part. But I thought the team went out there and did leave it all out there. So watching, I was proud. It was also pretty cool to like see, in a sense, like Coca-Cola Coliseum full of fans and cheering them on. And it's like on the ice, sometimes you don't get to see like the exact perspective from the fan side. So, I mean, I'd much rather would have been on the ice, but to see that I think was pretty cool. Just, you know, kind of where the women's game has got to.
And how's the knee?
The knee is good. It's
good.
coming along. I've been skating for, well, it might be 7 or 8 weeks now. And I mean, from 8 weeks ago, I've come a long way.
Yeah.
So that's huge. And yeah, just continuing to strengthen my quad and make sure it's strong enough to be able to go out there and handle the physicality that our game has. So that'll be the biggest thing.
We tend not to think about this when a player is going through an injury and rehabbing it, but it's not just about how that injury affects you at the rink. Like what's everyday life been like, just having to deal with that at home?
I mean, having a 2-year-old to run after.
Yeah.
The first few weeks were tough
Yeah.
because of just like pain, but then after that went away. But then July, I had Rory home with me. And that was tough.
Yep.
I had to buy a leash to like take him outside.
I mean, it's practical.
Yeah.
Like I could not keep up with him.
Right.
Like I couldn't physically run after him. So we stayed inside a lot of the time.
Oh my
But then he went back to daycare in August. So then we were all good. And yeah. But
Yeah.
I lent on a lot of people during that time. Luckily I had neighbors helping to watch when I was going to rehab, and it was a juggling act, but we got through it.
It is. Parenting is early. And how is he?
He's great. He's great. He's so much fun. He'll be 2 in December. So he's into the no, and I'm my own person, but also like all the cuddles and loves everyone, but is a runner. He's a runner. He likes to run away.
Okay. I'm not surprised
Yeah.
is that he's a runner. I'm not shocked by that. The jerseys look amazing. What was
Yes.
your reaction when you first saw them?
I love them. I feel like it feels powerful to me. Like the colors are great. I don't know if people saw like the numbers, but on our numbers, there's like these like little scepters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
get that. Yeah.
There it is.
That's so
That's
cool.
awesome.
Like so slick, like just the tiny little
details.
details just make them so nice. And yeah, I mean, I'm a fan. I feel like everyone should rock these to the rink.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know what's in this box, and I don't think you do either, but this is supposed to be
Who's opening the magic box?
Steven.
Steve.
Okay.
Yeah, you do the honor.
Cool.
Look at him. He's like, please pick me.
How do I open it?
Here.
I don't like ripping things.
For anybody
There you
listening,
go.
there's been a blue box sitting on the desk this whole time, and it's filled with goodies.
Okay, first of all, this
Secret
stuff is
box.
called Easter grass.
Oh.
And my wife hates it because every time we get a box in the house, it goes all over the lawn somehow. Look at this. Okay, so we got a Toronto Sceptres
Nice
hat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Adam,
Very
it's going to
cool.
go on your
On my
noggin.
enormous head.
Your-
Is it gonna fit?
Yeah, nope.
We got, this is very cool. So this isn't just Sceptres.
oh, tote.
Yeah.
Own the ice, tote
Nice.
with the, I don't know.
All the
Which
teams.
should I call you guys the original 6? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Original 6. What else we got?
Oh, this is a good one.
You
Hey.
like this one?
Who's it gonna fit? Who's it gonna fit? Ah!
The answer is
Maddie
me.
wants that.
Feeling it.
You guys did a
Is it a
collab with
medium
Peace Collective.
Or
Yeah.
a large?
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
What size?
It's a large. Sorry, Jesse. Large.
Jesse's, by the way, is wearing a medium jersey, so Steve and I could wear the large jersey.
Slim
so it
fit.
does.
Slim fit.
Slim fit. Yeah.
This is thank you for the support. Who's it signed by?
That's Blair.
Oh,
Hey,
Hey, Blair.
Yeah.
very cool. I thought it was you. That's why I was being cheeky, and I'm like, oh, wait a sec, you're not 40. Okay. And
Oh, more.
it's a bag within a box. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's
The hoodie.
It's a hoodie.
It's a very uniquely packaged hoodie. You can see
pretty.
how I thought it was a bag.
Steve, you can tell, has a big family and is used to showing off Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, here, let's all sit around.
You're doing
We do
great
the
with
same
those.
in my family. One at a time.
Watch, everybody.
My wife,
Oh, Urkel pants.
my wife does not come from that kind of family. And she friggin' hates it. This,
Hey.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, the black Toronto Sceptres.
Beautiful.
I have the matching one, so we can match.
Oh,
Yeah.
buddy.
There you go.
Buddy, big fan. Big fan.
So listen, we got to
Jesse,
focus
this is
on,
also a large.
for those of us who have enormous heads, the one thing I will say is that I can't fit this hat on my head.
If I put it on,
You need an extender.
I do.
Oh my gosh.
if I put it on last or second, last, it might.
No.
I mean, it's probably not going to fit you.
I think Maddie, I think you got a hat.
Maddie, I think you got a
I think
free
the
hat.
hat's yours out of everything.
You can have the
No.
shirt too. Yeah, don't-
Every hat looks like a yarmulke on me.
I know. I look.
Yeah, no.
Ava Nagila and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, Maddie, I think you got a hat.
I'm not. I'm not a hat guy for that reason. So listen, Natalie. It's we love having you in. We specifically requested that you come in because you're so great, and we just want to say we wish you the very best this season. Very best with parenting and all the
Thank
other things
you.
that you're doing, and the jersey launch today. Thank you so much for making time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on.
And single game tickets.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Still, I don't know what
That's
camera
it.
to look
A
at.
very few.
Available.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what I've been told is that the season tickets are gone, the half season tickets are gone, and this is at Coca-Cola Coliseum. So there's a lot more people, and there are some single seats available, but mostly standing room. This is where we're at now. There are two. You can't get in. So go get your tickets now. And an expanded schedule this year too. So there's more
Yeah.
games. To
More
go to.
games. Get out to them.
I like that. I like that. Thank you, Natalie Spooner.
Thanks so much.
Listen, if someone calls you thick, usually it's a bit of an insult.
Not me.
But not when it comes to your hair. Okay?
yeah.
When it comes to your hair, thick and luscious, these are words we want to associate with it. And you know what? It's not abnormal for men to lose their hair as we age. It happens. Now, with Hims, which is something we think that you should try, Hims makes treating your hair loss really, really simple. There are personalized things for you to try. So there's chewable, there's oral, spray, serum treatments. Find out what works best for you. And here's the best part, is that the process is online. And when it shows up at your house, it's not like, hey, this guy's bald. Check out the package in front of his house. You know? Because sometimes they do that, right? You'll order a package and it's got the branding all over it. No. The packages arrive and they're very kind of quiet. And
It's not called forbaldguys.com.
Yeah, exactly. It's Hims. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/STP. That's HIMS.com/STP for your personalized hair loss treatment options. Hims.com/STP. Results vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride treatments. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. So, Natalie Spooner was fantastic. How charming.
As always.
Hilarious. It's going to be an exciting year in the PWHL. Where it's not exciting, not as exciting, is Philadelphia. where Jesse informed me what just a second ago.
Michkov is a healthy scratch tonight.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, John Tortorella. I shouldn't start with John. A lot of the Flyers reporters.
Who did it?
A lot of the Flyers reporters were not disagreeing with the decision because at 5-on-5, he has struggled as of late. And John Tortorella made the decision to send a message to him that, like, hey, you're still a rookie here. You having down moments at 5-on-5 consistently over the last few games isn't good enough. And we can healthy scratch you because you're just entering the NHL. So they've made that decision tonight.
So I have him on my fantasy team, so I am moving
Not
him
anymore,
off.
you don't.
I am moving him off and putting him back on the bench because I had put him in instead of Logan Stankoven. Not anymore. Now, I want to say this. I think this is an interesting move by the coach, but I think it's a distraction. And I think it's a distraction that serves a purpose. Kevin Kurz, who's a Flyers journalist for The Athletic, I think really nailed it. And this is something we hit on yesterday's show, how bad the Flyers goaltending is. And this takes the spotlight off that. So he says that the splits are glaring. So Samuel Ersson, who is out with a minor lower body injury, is 4-2-1 with a 268 goals against average and a 901 save percentage.
4-2-1.
And 901's not bad.
No,
It's winnable.
That is enough to get you in the playoff conversation.
You would be far and away the best Oilers goalie.
Damn.
By 15 percentage points.
Gosh darn.
But the backup goalie position has been nothing short of an embarrassment. The Flyers have yet to win a game or even earn a single point in the 6 games that Kosalov or Fedotov have played. Get this. You ready for this? 0-6-0 with an 8.42 save percentage.
Combined.
So you remembered we did this yesterday?
Yes.
Okay.
I did say that.
Yes.
I did say that. And I think that the Philadelphia Flyers, you saw Torts, right? We ran the clip yesterday of Torts being upset after the thing.
And we have one of him today explaining Michkov.
Okay, and I'll get to just hold that for just a second.
Yes.
Here's what I think's going on here. You can't play Easton if he's injured. You're going to get dummied if the goalies continue to play like this. How do we, I don't know, send a message? This kind of kills two birds with one stone because it takes the pressure off of management, which Kerr says essentially is, he said it's the first major error of this new regime, not having good goaltending. It's a solvable problem to have a relatively okay backup goaltender, and they don't.
It feels like they moved heaven and earth to... Fedotov's making like nearly $3 million.
I know.
Keep in mind. After playing basically no games, they moved heaven and earth to get this guy. He hasn't panned out. Kolosov hasn't panned out. It's bad, man.
It's bad.
And there were goalies to be had on the waiver wire.
And maybe Michkov does deserve to sit, but I think that Michkov sitting is a bigger story than their backup goaltender situation. And I think that this takes the pressure off of the goaltenders. And maybe, just maybe, they get a good start. Now, Jess, you want to run that clip? Because I would love to hear what Torts had to say about it.
Here's Torts when asked about Michkov.
Goalie for tonight, start.
Coley.
And any lineup changes to mention?
Richie goes in, Michkov is out.
With Michkov, you've talked about this being a process for him. This is probably just the next step in that.
You just answered the question. Yes.
With Richie, I know he had a good camp. He was here pretty late. What did you see from him in camp that you're hoping translates?
Yeah, he had a really good camp. Skates well, has played very well down there. Brings some offense. As I told him in camp, I'm hoping, I want him to take a chance offensively. I don't want him to worry about making mistakes. I want him to take a chance offensively. So he gets an opportunity.
When you went back through the tape of the last game, were there any positives that jumped out at you when you had a chance to digest it in full?
Yeah, first half, I saw there were some things that we had talked about being on our toes, but we just didn't sustain it at all.
Apologize if you answered any of these questions already, but I just see Matt.
Someone just walked in.
Tonight.
Yes.
What is it that he's not doing that you want to see him do?
Just part of the process.
Is it more a teaching thing?
Just part of the process. Yeah. I mean, I told you guys, with young guys, they can watch games too, as far as development. So it's trying to help them.
Was this filmed in my nonna's basement? Can we
wood
all
paneling's
address the
interesting.
elephant in the room?
It's not done. It's not done.
Can we? No, it's
You've got the same process.
Steve.
It's in a wood-paneled cottage outhouse. Like, where is this room in the Wells Fargo?
It's clearly the Philadelphia's Health Club and Spa. Flyers Health Club.
What
and Spa.
hunting lodge is this?
Here you go. Go ahead.
He should have shot this interview in like one of those reflective jackets.
Why did that bother you so much?
It's my daughter's basement. I know that place smells like marinara. Oh my God. Anyway, sorry, Jesse. Continue.
Oh gosh.
That's that.
All right.
It smells like rosemary, basil, and garlic.
For everybody listening that doesn't know what Steve's talking about, John Tortorella is standing in front of a wood background.
As far as development, so it's trying to help him.
With Anthony, you talked a lot about his speed during the preseason, and he brought that. He got some power play time too in the preseason. Obviously, preseason's a little different with the lineup structure. Is he someone who could slot into that position?
He'll be on the power play.
He'll be on the power play. What is it that you want to see from him in that
Score.
role?
Going back to the last game, you said
Hey,
the
John,
first
next
half, you guys
question.
were on your
Oh,
toes.
come stai? Where is this room? I need to know where this friggin' wood-paneled room
I
is.
thought the way he handled the questions about Michkov could not have been more John Tortorella.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to give you this answer about its process, and I'm going to give you nothing else.
Well, and is there anything more triggering to Philadelphia fans than the word process?
That's got to be an accident, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, like I don't think that Philadelphia fans are interested in your process.
Okay.
Find a different word.
Find a different stat, plus minus. Like, here's why Michkov is sitting. Okay, we can go through all his games this season. First game, nothing happens. Okay, no goals, no assists, blah. Next game, he gets his first career point with an assist.
Oh, that's cool.
-2. Next game, he gets 2 goals. His first 2 goals. -1. Next game, he gets an assist. That's great. -2. Next game, he doesn't get a goal or an assist. -1. Next game, he gets an assist. Even. Next game, goal and an assist. What a response. -3. There's one outlier game. In fact, now that I look at it, it is through the first 13 games of his NHL career, the only plus game Michkov has ever had. Goal, assist, +4.
Wow.
It's his only plus game, but since then, zeros across the board, even. Zeros across the board, even. Zeros across the board, even. Zeros across the board, -3. In his last game, an assist and even. A lot of pucks go behind Matvei Michkov. That's not entirely his fault. I would need a Jesse Blake down. All of those.
You know what, Steve? You know who else should be sitting? Cale Makar, also a -8.
He's a -8 on the season.
Yeah, and Cale Makar, by the way, has, and I'm looking at it, 23 points in 13 games. He's a -8, though.
That's crazy.
Should probably sit. Doesn't understand 5-on-5 hockey.
So
if we're going based on plus minus,
No.
a completely unfair and ridiculous.
I'm hearing you. I'm listening.
Can't be our bar.
Right.
I'm listening.
Right. And listen, I get what I'm not even criticizing towards here. I have not seen Michkov's last few games. I have no idea. This is why I bring it back to if you're wondering why his stats are so bad, at least on that side of the puck, all the pucks get behind him. Well, it's because they're playing goalies that are not NHL goalies. I would even argue that half of those goals probably don't go in if they have a goalie with an 890 save.
That is a very valid point.
And I look at the same thing with Cale Makar, who has also had a whole lot of NHL quality goaltending until Eustace Annunen showed up, who's been actually a nice little fantasy pickup for me. Thank you for picking that.
You're welcome.
That's kind of the problem here. The problem is we got a guy who's on a bad team, and the goaltending's not an easy situation to fix. And let's scratch him. He can also learn from this, and this is part of the process. He can watch the game, but it also kind of takes the pressure off them with the goaltending thing. Let's be honest about this.
It's you can't. This is the number one story with the Philadelphia Flyers today.
Yeah,
but it only buys you a couple days.
Exactly, and good for Richie. I'm glad he had a good game.
Sure.
Sounds like he had a good camp.
Anthony Richard is who he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
Richard?
Yeah.
Where's he from?
Quebec somewhere.
I'm going to go with Richard.
So he had a good training camp with the Flyers, and then now he's getting the shot for Michkov. And it's interesting because he's like a very journeyman NHL player, played 24 career games and spent some time with the Bruins, and now just because of his good camp, he's getting called up. But he's getting called up and put in the same position where Michkov was. Like he's going to get time on the top power play unit, which I think is an interesting way to call somebody up that wasn't good enough for your lineup, but now you're inserting him right into the top power play. So I think that's a curious decision by management and Tortorella there. But
He's having an ass kicker of a start to the season in the A.
Oh, yeah.
4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points in 7 games, and Adam, most importantly, +3.
So there's a good like he's earned the call up.
Yes.
Like I don't think we should take away from that. But with Michkov, it's interesting because this has been brewing. He got benched in the Blues game that the Flyers played a week ago or something, a couple days ago. And then he got benched in the Hurricanes game as well. So John Tortorella has been planting the seeds that this is coming. It shouldn't be a surprise, but it's also, do you agree with the treatment of young players and that this is how the development should go? Because you should expect growing pains from young guys learning the NHL and is watching from the press box and learning there and giving this hot AHLer a shot the right way to treat your development project. So that's the question.
His opinion is yes.
Yeah.
One criticism, not criticism, but one note that we made with Matthew Nyes last year with the Leafs was the amount of games played. He's coming from a college schedule. The KHL is better, but it's not much better. They don't play as many games. Maybe it's okay to sit them. I'm also going to say this. That league is not where you go to develop players. It's clearly
not.
I don't think it's good for them. Like, obviously good players come out of that league, and obviously good players play in that league.
Yeah.
He got benched like basically every game to start last year with, I think it was SK St. Petersburg. That was stupid. Then he went to Sochi and was like their best player. That was great. I wonder about like Ivan Demidov as well. Like he's consistently playing on the third line of his KHL team with Evgeny Kuznetsov.
They have different agendas in the KHL in terms of who gets ice time.
And their agenda is to win KHL games.
Yeah.
Which is not the same as developing an NHL player.
Exactly.
Well, and they'll also sewer their own team just to screw over an NHL team. Like they'll scratch guys that are like, oh, you signed a contract? Well, we're not going to play you.
Winning the trophy is secondary to politics.
Yes.
So what do you guys think, Adam, what do you think about the process of getting a young player up to the playing talent that you think he's capable of and up to NHL speed?
What I respect about John Tortorella in this situation is that John Tortorella is going to challenge you to be better. And Michkov might be better than, I'm just going to pick a player.
No, just go with Anthony Richard.
Bobby Brink.
Who's okay?
Rink with a B.
Sure.
Bobby Brink. Michkov might be better than him.
Bobby Brink.
Yeah. But the goal for Michkov isn't to be better than Bobby Brink. The goal for Michkov is to be one of the top 10 best players in the league. The goal for him is to be better than Kirill Kaprizov.
Should win the Calder Trophy.
Exactly. And so I think Torts is going, listen, this season's probably already kind of fucked. And, the fact that...
Based on what you outlined with the goaltender.
Yeah, they're starting Kolosov tonight, even though they're 27-year-old, $3.275 million goaltender for this year and next.
Oh, he makes more than I thought.
Yeah, Fedotov is not starting.
He makes like what Joseph Wool makes.
Yeah, dude. And so I look at this and I go, okay, this is Torts challenging a guy, and I'm sure if you are a hockey player and you're proud and you kicked ass in Sochi and you were the best player on Sochi last year, you got some pride, and you're 19 and you're full of piss and vinegar, and I like that John is challenging them. Now, one thing I do want to put out there is that there are a lot of questions about John Tortorella and young players. And how does he develop young players? And we talked about it a little bit yesterday when we brought this up. Like, is John Tortorella in the hot seat? I don't think he is, because I think he's the key guy. But I think he's actually the face of the franchise until Michkov takes over. But I do question how much time John has left. And that's not that it's this season or it's next season.
In Philly or in the league?
But no, just in Philly. Okay. He'll be back.
Yeah.
But he's a 4-year coach. And how much longer? Really, truly, he's a 4-year coach.
I can't remember him ever being in a situation like this.
Oh, with a rebuild? No. And
the Rangers, nope. The Canucks was a one and done gong show.
Yep.
The
Lightning,
nope.
The Lightning, he did 6 years. The Rangers, he did 5. Vancouver, he did 1, and then Columbus, he did 6. Okay.
Oh,
so
Columbus,
yeah.
right.
So he's a 5-year coach. This is his 3rd year in Philadelphia.
Year 4 is when you talk about it.
I just
start talking about it.
I think that John Tortorella will go as Michkov's development goes. Mm-hmm. And so John has as much to lose in this situation as Matvei Michkov. Mm-hmm. So they better make it work. Does that make sense?
It does. I also want to say if you're rebuilding, you do need to give opportunities to players who deserve it. That's really important. And to take the conversation away from Michkov, Anthony Richard really deserves it. And everyone's trying to find the market inefficiency. And I mean, one of the market inefficiencies, I think, is dudes in their mid to late 20s who you just missed.
He's 27.
Yeah, think of a Stefan Nason type. Mm-hmm. A guy who, he was a first-round pick, and he played, and then he stops getting called up, and he's and he plays one game with Sheldon Keefe in the Leafs. He goes to the minors, goes off, wins a championship. He's on the Hurricanes' top power play unit, and now he's one of the most productive players on the New Jersey Devils. And guess who his coach is?
Sheldon Keefe.
Guess who likes him now? Guess who wouldn't dream of taking him out of the lineup? Richard, if you look through his AHL career, it is a solid mix of meh to fine until, wham, 2022-23 with the Montreal Canadiens. He puts up 5 points in 13 games on a dog-ass team. But the reason he got called up, 30 goals, 37 assists, 67 points in 60 games. And then last year, he had a nice little cup of coffee with the Bruins, was really good in the minors. He's really good in the minors to start this season. He had a great training camp. Mm-hmm. The new coach likes him. Mm-hmm. And he's not necessarily a bang and crasher. This dude is 5'10", $186. That is a guy.
There's a reason Tortorella is going to use him on the top power play unit and instead of in Michkov's place.
Yes.
Scores.
You know? Yeah.
Screens.
Yeah,
I think, what's he going to do? Score.
Yeah, I think the interesting conversation is how John Tortorella goes about developing young players and how his coaching style fits with these players. Because we saw it last year where he was scratching guys. He scratched who was it?
Couturier.
Well, yeah,
that's not a young player, but
he scratched the captain last year.
Sending a message though,
and because that was somebody who's struggling. I think it was mid-February when we were talking about that, and
he went 20 games without scoring or something like that. Yeah,
yeah. So this is kind of how he does business, and I think it's fascinating to watch how it hurts or helps the development of a potential superstar in Michkov.
I want to say I'm using NHL rosters on Puckpedia. And you should, when you go to Puckpedia, click lineups and then click the team you want to look at. And I love this because I'm looking at, Cat Friendly was cool because you had the cost of each player, but you didn't have which line they were on and how much they cost. And I'm looking at the Flyers' fourth line here, and I could see who's playing on it, how much they're worth, and what year of their contract they're in, and all that stuff. Ooh. And I didn't realize how expensive the Flyers' fourth line is.
So who they got?
Nick Delorier, Noah Cates, and Garnet Hathaway. So $1.75 million for Delorier, $2.65 million for Cates, and Garnet Hathaway makes $2.375. So we complain about David Kampf at his $2.5 million. I'm like, that would be. That's.
I like all those players.
Yeah, they're all good players.
Is a guy who I want to say as a rookie he received Selke votes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it just. I don't know. It hasn't really panned out.
Also, deliciously, Travis Konechny is in the last year of a 6-year deal. And he will be a UFA at the end of the year. Just throwing that out there.
And he probably wants bank. And if he doesn't get bank from the Flyers, Trade deadline.
Too bad he doesn't play center.
I'll just say that you're allowed to have a bunch of money on the fourth line when you're not paying the rest of your lineup any kind of money.
True.
You know,
True.
The Leafs got a lot locked up in 4 guys.
Yeah, there's nobody making 10 or over.
I'd rather be the
10.
Yeah, there's nobody.
What even 10?
They got
12.
One guy's making
13, 11. That's the Leaf.
Couturier is the highest paid. 7.75.
I'd love 10.
Bobby Brink.
Bobby Brink is a great hockey name. Yeah, good name. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Now, life is funny. You know, you might have a great start to the week. Mm-hmm. Maybe you destroy an Atlantic rival.
You kicked Monday's butt.
You destroy an Atlantic rival, and then you're like, wow, tomorrow night we're playing one of the worst teams in the league.
I'm on easy street.
Yeah, and then you get your butt kicked by them the next night, and you're sad. And that sadness carries over into the weekend. Sometimes we need to manage the things that we don't expect to happen, right? We expect to beat the good guys, but we expect to beat the bad, but we didn't. And why?
Adam, what are you getting at?
What I'm trying to say is sometimes therapy is a really good option if life's a little bit up and down. The thing about life is you got to manage the ups and the downs, because sometimes the trip down is not fun, and therapy can help with that. And the great thing about BetterHelp is there's never a bad time. It works within your schedule. You book it. You choose your therapist. If you don't vibe with your therapist, you get to choose another one. And that's what's so great. And usually you're matched in about 48 hours or less. And we would like to give you 10% off your first month. Visit BetterHelp.com/SDP today to get your 10% off your first month. It's BetterHelp, HELP.com/SDP. Okay, moving on here. The Jets attendance. Murat Ates wrote a bit of a piece in The Athletic. I can't stand that The Athletic has changed their links to the New York Times. Like, no.
Why?
Because you're not. You're The Athletic. You're not the New York Times. You're owned by the New York Times. I don't care. You're owned by the New... call it the New York Times sports section then. No, it's The Athletic. It's annoying.
Do you like...
that's for the New York Times editors. That's for you. Stop it.
If I bought something for hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever it was,
$550 million.
I think if I spent $550 million on something, I think I have the right to name it whatever
The Jesse
I want.
Blake Sports Reports.
Yeah.
Then call it X. No, over my dead body.
Actually, you can't call it X because the URL is still twitter.com. But anyway, if
I die, I don't even want to be buried with my hands over my chest.
No, if you type in x.com, it takes you to Twitter.
Oh, it does?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you
okay.
type in x.com,
Okay, all right.
I want my hands down at my side.
So
I'd rather be cremated.
You remember last winter, Chris Johnson talked about the fact, and he talked about it on The Athletic, and he interviewed Mark Chipman. He also talked about it on TSN and with us here at SDPN about the fact that the Winnipeg Jets really needed a transition. And Mark Chipman outlined a situation where he said, we thought we were invincible. And what we became was essentially something that wasn't really serving the fans. And, you know, I know the Canadian economy isn't really particularly great, especially Manitoba's struggling in particular, along with a few other provinces. But Murat Ates says this: my overall impression is meaningfully changing the momentum of public opinion in any field is a challenging feat to manage, but there are many factors here, and for that reason, an increase in season seat sales from 9,500 to 10,000 seems like a disproportionately large win. The Jets have managed to stop the boulder from continuing downhill. How have they done it? And he said, as I wrote last season, I think it was important True North acknowledged it had a problem. Fans had reported poor customer service experiences for years during the sellout streak. It seemed clear Winnipeg didn't do enough to retain fans during that time. Chipman's acknowledgement of this fact was an important first step. There needs to be more done, some more overlap between the story for the fan base and ownership, but obviously things are improving in Winnipeg. And so if we're going to talk about...
I have an alternate theory.
If we're going to talk... Hang on. If we're going to talk about the bad... We do need to talk about the good as well. Remember the Jack Campbell thing last year where you're like, well, if we're going to talk about him going down, we do need to talk about him doing better.
I like your impression of me.
And it didn't get that much better for Jack. But
No, it did. It got better, though.
It did get better.
The highlights stopped showing up.
Yeah.
No one was like, oh, man, he stopped 29-30.
What's your big dumb theory, you big dummy?
They're 12-1. They're the best team in the NHL.
Kyle Connor didn't get a point I think 2 nights ago for the first time all season.
Piece of crap.
But the season ticket thing, like increasing that, happened over the summer.
Yes.
Like that
Yes,
has nothing
yes,
to do with
yes,
the
yes.
stuff,
Yeah, dumb
you know?
idiot.
Yeah, no, it's fans want to be heard.
Yes.
Fans want to be heard. Fans want to be acknowledged. Fans want to feel like their presence and time is valued. And the Jets got away from that a little bit. And they got back. And they led like a pretty Domino's Pizza-like campaign of, man, we stink at this. Let's be better about this. And
Our pizza's bad.
yeah, they didn't.
By the way, I liked Domino's Pizza the whole time. I don't know why that everybody was hating on it, but I love
liked it
Domino's
too.
Pizza. But
I
anyway,
liked it too.
anyway.
But anyway, they didn't get defensive. They went, you know what? Gosh darn it, the customer's always right. What would you like? Can we offer you a 12-1 team? I mean, they didn't do a ton to the roster. It's if these sales were over the summer, like you said, it's just they made the fans feel valued.
It seems like knocking on doors, asking people what you need. Can you support our team? Like, we want to do right by Winnipeg. How can we get you back in the arena? It seemed like that grassroots stuff truly had an effect in Winnipeg.
I would be fascinated to know how Blue Jays season seats are going.
Complete opposite.
Oh, yeah. Garbage.
Yeah.
Because does a single Jays fan feel heard?
No. But Juan Soto might make you feel a little bit better.
Don't fall for that.
I won't fall for it, but I'm going to fall for
Yeah.
it.
What's he on the same plane as
But the
Shohei?
best 20 minutes of 2023 for me were the 20 minutes I thought that Shohei Ohtani was on a plane to Toronto. That was my best 20 minutes.
God.
And then that guy from Shark Tank got off the plane.
Adam,
Where is he?
I got some beans I got to sell you.
I know.
They're really good magic legumes.
Yeah, man, could I keep this money or could this money turn into these beans and these beans could create so much more money?
Yeah, no, they're really magic.
Last thing before we do the press conference, Easton Cowan has scored in 47 straight games for the London Knights. 47 straight games.
That's bad, actually.
That's actually bad. I'm excited for this kid. I am glad they sent him back this year. And I'm excited for this new deal. And that brings me into this new deal between the NCAA and the CHL. We've talked about this. And this also includes, by the way, U Sports in Canada, which is our version of the NCAA, which means that guys who went to university here, guys who are in the OHL, the CHL, the WHL, the QMJHL, they're all allowed to go to the NCAA as of this decision. And there will be impacts for leagues. Traditionally in the past, the NCAA said that, that you because you had a stipend, you played professional hockey at 14, so you can't come play here. That's bullshit. It's been challenged. There's no judge in the world that's going to go, yeah, no, that's thumbs up. Go NCAA. So that the NCAA is accepting the inevitable and it's coming to an end. It's going to boost the NCAA, but I also think it's going to boost the junior leagues here in Canada, which have a long tradition of graduating a ton of high round picks in North America. And the reason I say that is there's going to be a lot of overagers who go, you know what, probably not going to make the show. I could go to school for 4 years for free and then go play in Europe.
Yep.
And graduating your 18s and especially your 19-year-olds off the roster, specifically with a guy like Fraser Minton, I think about, who is now with the AHL Marlies, but had to go back last year as the Kelowna Rockets that he was playing for.
Who is this?
Fraser
Minton.
Minton.
No,
He's in BC.
damn it.
You know what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter. Had to go back.
Saskatoon Blades?
Yeah, there it is. Or whatever it was. It doesn't really matter. The point is he had to go back to junior because there is this rule that an 18 and 19-year-old can't.
Saskatoon Blades.
There it is. And
He played for Kamloops before that.
that's what.
That was it.
Blades and Blazers. That's not confusing. Now, if a player is 19, now they'll be able to be sent back to the AHL, so that's good for NHL teams. But I think graduating older players off the roster and into colleges and universities can be a huge benefit to the OHL because it's going to open up more spots for younger guys. And the OHL, the Q, the WHL, whatever league you were talking about in Canada, they thrive on the big, young next thing.
The best players are still going to rise to the top.
Absolutely.
I also think,
And people are not just going to stop going to those games, and they're not going to stop being hugely talented games.
I think there's a notion of junior A in Canada versus OHL, where if you put the two teams against each other, it's like, OHL team first line, OHL team second line, OHL team third line, OHL team fourth line. Then the fifth line is junior A first line.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. If you're like an overager, I'm probably not going to make the show. I might be able to go play in Europe or something like that. Odds are the best players in junior A are taking your job anyway, right? It's not going to be as simple as, I'll just go play in college. It's high level hockey. Not everyone's going to get in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just think also for the general development of human beings, which we kind of have to take into account here, for them to be able to take their hockey skills and parlay that into a 4-year degree or more is significant. And the fact that they couldn't before outside of Canada is obnoxious.
I've told the story before. I'll tell it again. There was a goalie. It was our junior A feature of the week when I wrote for RBC Junior Hockey Magazine. And he got a full ride to Maine. Full ride. Don't remember his name. Don't think he ever played pro. I think I looked it up. Full ride. And he can use that education for the rest of his life.
Yep. So I think this is cool. I'm excited for that. Shall we do the press conference?
We shall.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
All right. For today's press conference, we are going to play 2 games to kick it off. We're going to play an old trusty called Point a Game.
Ooh.
If you remember Point a Game, it is where Adam and Steve, if you're not familiar with Point a Game, Adam and Steve go back and forth naming NHL players, but they must name an NHL player who is a Point a Game player. So it is based on their points and their games played. So you've played 10 games, you got to have at least 10 points. And they go back and forth until one of them doesn't name a Point a Game player, and that person loses. Adam and Steve, are you ready?
Yep.
We are going to flip a coin, and we're going to find out who's going to start first.
There's the fake coin.
No, the listening audience doesn't know I flipped a fake coin.
Such a real coin.
All right, it says Adam. You're up first. Heads. Adam was heads.
Kyle Connor.
Steve?
Kyle Connor, Cale Makar.
Damn it.
Adam?
Alexander Ovechkin.
That's correct. Point a game. Steve?
He's been a point a game his whole career. Sidney Crosby?
It's really?
Have I already lost?
That's risky. He's 15 of 14. He's got 15 points in 14 games. Yes.
Oh, that sounds like over a point a game.
I feel like there's so much more obvious we can go.
Mitch Marner.
Adam. Mitch Marner, yep. 16 points, 14 games.
Nikita Kucherov.
Kucherov, yeah. He's, I think, third in the league in points. 22 points in 13 games.
You know what? I'm going to go risky.
Why?
Because it's fun. Why would you want to not be risky?
It is fun.
Let's go Dylan Strome.
Dylan Strome has 19 points in 12 games.
Holy shit.
And that's not even risky.
fantasy
He's
pickup.
10th overall in scoring. Steve?
Gosh darn. Nathan McKinnon.
Nathan McKinnon leads the league in scoring. 25 points in 13 games.
On the Colorado Avalanche train, Mikko Rantanen.
Damn.
Mikko Rantanen, 17 points in 13 games. Steve Dangle?
Martinichus.
Marty Nietzsche. What's wrong with that?
No, just the way you said it.
He's a little unsure, but Steve, you shouldn't be unsure at all. He has 20 points in 11 games.
Oh,
Damn.
wow.
He's 7th in the league in scoring.
How was that 7th? Okay.
I know, it's crazy.
Adam Wild, you are up.
Yeah, I look at the league stats. I'm like, oh, they're pretty good. And then I look at the league stats. I'm like, they're not so good. Okay. Who shall I go with? Leon Draisaitl.
Leon Draisaitl is a point of game. He is, let me just double check, 16 points in 14 games. Oh, barely.
The Oilers have struggled so
They
bad.
have, but that's
Some
why I
guys-
went with that, because I'm like, if it's not Leon, it's nobody on that team.
Shout out Mike Ross. William Nylander.
That's an easy one. That's 15 points in 14 games. But you should know that Willie.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should probably know that.
Adam?
So I wanted to go Senators, but I know Josh Norris is not. I know he's not, because he's, again, fantasy team.
I have a player.
Do you have a player?
I do.
Okay.
And if you take him, I'm going to be cross.
Let's go risky again.
Okay.
Let's go Connor Bedard.
Ooh.
Connor Bedard. I don't have him
he
right
might
off
not
the
be.
He's been
top
hot.
of my
He might not be, though.
He's had a
list.
he's had a good few games, I'm pretty sure.
Am I out?
Adam Wild's out. Connor Bedard has 12 points in 14 games.
Steve has got to get his
Yes.
for him to win.
So Steve you have to get this one or you tie and we keep going.
Nico Hischier.
oh, he's got it for sure.
Nico Hischier is 16 points in 15 games.
Oh, baby. Well done, Steven.
Right there.
That's good. I thought that was
That was a fun game.
Steve, do you want to keep going until you fail?
No.
He's solo. No? Oh. All right.
No.
Braden Point.
I can. Braden Point is 13 and 12. You would be correct. Other names you could have gone with that would be surprising: Anthony Cirelli, Nick
wow.
Suzuki,
Okay.
Neil Pionk,
Neil Pionk
That's
has been
nuts.
unreal.
Kirill Merchenko,
Yeah.
Matt Boldy.
Did either of us say Kaprizov?
Nope, that was a bad one.
And I have Matt Boldy on my team, too.
Anton Lindell.
Wow.
Baby Barkov?
Yeah, point a game. You could have gone with, I said Nick Suzuki. No, Timo Meyer doesn't count. Sam Bennett, Jake Gensel,
I wondered about him, and I just didn't have the balls.
Travis Konechny, Michael Granlund in San Jose.
Michael Grant.
Good for Michael Granlund, man. Good for
Casey
him.
Middlestat in Colorado.
He's been real good. Yep.
Yeah.
Fantasy.
It's a bummer that no one else is alive there.
Ivan Barbashev in Vegas is 15 of 13.
Whatever the Leafs should have paid or could have paid to get Achari, O'Reilly, and Barbashev, they should have just paid him.
Did you say Mark Stone?
I did not say
But he's
Mark
on there.
Stone.
He's
gotta be.
Yeah, Mark Stone's fourth in the league in scoring.
Where's Stefan Nason?
Stefan Nason
He's been hot.
is up there, but I don't think he's point a game. Yeah, he's 13 points, but in 15 games. So that
close.
would have been wrong.
So-
all right. Oh, go ahead.
I just have a quick question about the Senators when they disassembled what they had.
Brady Tkachuk is point a game, by the way.
He is a point a game. My question is, did they need to? Because I look at all of the players that they sort of got rid of. So Carlson, still like outrageously expensive. I'd like his attitude to be better. Please care more about defense, but still scoring
They
points.
literally could not afford to pay him.
Yeah, Mark Stone. Did you need to trade him?
That one probably not.
And some of the other guys, I'm like, ooh, like you still could have bottomed out and had a pretty good team. Like, and Mark Stone could have been on it.
They
right?
bottomed out. That was
Yeah.
the problem.
The Mark Stone trade was Eric Brandstrom, Oscar Lindbergh, and a 2020 second for Stone and Tobias Lindbergh.
Oh boy, that's a just ripoff,
That could have gone better.
man. And this, you have to remember Eugene Melnick, chaotic organization,
Different time, yeah.
but still, it still hurts. Anyway,
Ooh.
Last game we'll play today. Last thing for the press conference. We have our NHL 25 Guess That Starting Lineup quiz.
hey,
Today, I will be giving you... Hold on, let me just double check. I got the right... Yeah. Okay. So, on left wing. Oh, this game, I'll explain it for anybody who's not familiar with this game. We have the NHL 25 ratings of a starting lineup in the NHL. I'm going to give out the ratings for each position in the lineup, and Steve and Adam must guess what team this is. I have two ready to go. So
I know
we'll
who
be
this
guessing
is.
two teams. Oh, Adam's already ready.
I know who this is.
But I need to let the listeners know what the ratings are. Left wing, 85 overall. Down the middle, 89 overall. On right wing, 88 overall. On defense, left D, 87. On right D, 85.
Thank you for choosing the middest team possible. Like, there's no one player that stands out where you're like, here's who that could be. Nope, it's just everyone's
is.
within 4 points of each other. I think I know who it might be.
okay, you say.
Right? No. Get your whiteboards.
Oh,
Get your whiteboards out. Let's make this fair.
Dunks.
Write down your answers, and then we'll do a 3-2-1 reveal. Adam is up. No, Steve is up 1-0 in press conference trivia on this Thursday.
I love a press conference trivia. It's fun.
Adam's been ready to go since he
If
saw
I'm
it.
wrong on this one, I know that the team I picked is still close to this.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Adam says the Blackhawks. Steve went with the Blues. Both are incorrect. You will each get one more guess.
All right.
One
Okay.
more guess, and then we will do the answer reveal.
So it's not the Blocks, and it's not the Blues. I shouldn't have wrote all that because now I have to erase all that.
Yeah, your board's a mess.
It's stupid.
Can you show the camera? You can't really see it on the camera, but it's really black.
No, I don't think it's that team. It could be though. No, it's not that team.
Adam's guess is ready to go. He's already written it down. Steve,
Yeah, well, good for friggin' him.
you got 10 seconds.
It's not the Blackhawks.
It's not the Blackhawks. It's not the Blues.
Maddie's counting, so you better write faster.
Oh, shit. The countdown's happening.
Okay. I did it.
Adam, reveal. Adam says the Sharks. Steve, what do you say? What was that supposed to be?
It's the Flames logo.
Oh, my gosh. That's really bad.
Also the Ottawa Chargers.
both
but
of
mostly the
you
Flames.
are incorrect.
No!
Who is it?
This is the Montreal Canadiens.
That was my first thought.
You know what,
And I
Steve?
didn't do it.
You know what your worst take of the season was? When you said you're looking for the Montreal Canadiens to take a step forward, and everybody was like, ha, you're an idiot. And then now everybody's like, when are they going to take a step forward?
So in the Montreal Canadiens lineup, we had 85 overall Slavkovsky on the left wing. Down the middle, we had Suzuki and 89 overall. On the right wing, Caulfield 88. On D, Matheson and Gooley 87 and 85 respectively.
Gooley's an 85?
Are you got a problem with it?
That was
got a problem?
respectfully
That's a little-
already.
That's a little spicy.
You got a
That's
problem?
a spicy rating. That's
You
a
got a problem?
Canadiens fan at EA Sports head office there.
No, that's what threw
not
me
that he's
off.
not.
That's what threw me off because I looked at the forwards. I'm like, okay, yeah, that could be Suzuki in the middle, Slav and Caulfield, that could be them. Matheson, that could be him. Who the hell's on the right? There's no one on the Habs who is an 85.
You guys ready?
Not yet.
You guys ready for the final team?
Oh,
Yeah.
we're doing another.
Our
So
last-
okay, so here's why I said Chicago Blackhawks though. Bedard, I thought he's got to be like 89, 90, right? Because they never give it to you right away. And what's hilarious about this is Bedard's NHL rating is an 88. So you're telling me Caden Gooley is an 85? Sorry.
Yeah,
that's a Habs fan.
A lot of players are within
You gotta earn that. You do like they do
Nah,
make you earn it.
The NHL games aren't like the ones we grew up with, where like there were NHL players with ratings in the 50s.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right. Final trivia
Stop it.
for today. Final press conference trivia. Steve's still up 1-0. You guys got 0 points out of the last one. Let's see if Adam can steal a tie here and get the loser point.
So 94 is big. If Bedard's an 88.
Let me do this.
Sorry.
For the people listening who can't see that, it's already on the screen.
You're right.
Left wing, 87 overall. Down the middle, 94. Right wing, 91. On D, double 87 overalls. Which NHL 25 team is this? Starting lineup, I should say. Adam's got his answer ready to go. He knows it.
I got it down to 2 teams.
You got 2 guesses. If nobody gets it right on the first try, we go again. And then, Steve's trying to draw the logo.
Steve, why do you insist on taking the longest possible route? Can we just get this?
I know it bothers you. Okay.
It's the same thing when he's coming to work.
Yeah. Steve says Oilers.
Steve says Oilers. Adam says
Draisaitl and McDavid are way higher than 90.
Yeah, what the hell are you talking
don't know.
about? McDavid 94?
Pens.
Adam
is a
says
good
Pens.
guess.
Because I thought Letang Carlson.
Both of you are incorrect.
Okay.
Darn.
Now, Oilers is a terrible guess.
Thank you.
I feel better about mine. I feel much better about mine.
Adam, a reasonable guess.
Nope, that's a dumb one.
Great top centerman.
87 left wing, 94 center, 91 right wing, 87 D.
Oh,
Starting lineup
you know what?
according to NHL 25.
I think I nailed it.
Ooh.
I think I nailed it. Pretty confident.
Okay.
Reveal. Steve says Vegas. Adam says the Minnesota Wild. The correct answer is the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers. 87. Carter Verhaeghe. Down the middle. 94. Barkov. On the right. Sam Reinhart, a 91. On D. Forsling, 87. Ekblad 87.
That's right, because Forsling and Ekblad are only 2 EA points better than Caden Gooley.
They also, when they make these games, they don't want one team to stink.
Why? The Canadians stink.
Oh, they had no problem with that shit growing up. They're like, the Atlanta Thrashers fucking stink. They did not care.
You're making enemies today, Adam. You're making enemies.
Dude, it's not like, I'm not saying Caden Gooley's not going to be good, but Gus Forsling and Aaron Ekblad?
Dude,
come on.
Having good teams and bad, like, my older cousin, who was so much better at video games than me, I would be Team Canada and he would have to be like Team Japan. And
I remember you could be that like Team Italy and that sort of thing. It's awesome.
By the second period, he's like, fine, I'll play with an empty net. He would still beat me.
Oh. Anyway, sorry to all the Caden Gooley fans out there. I'm sure I'm going to hear from Habs fans in my DM.
He's good.
He is good.
He's good and he'll be better.
Yeah.
Just not an 85.
Yeah.
Now.
According to Adam Watt.
That's okay. It's not yet, man. Not yet.
Lots of better leads.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.